Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Vice President Korea India Jagdeep Dhankar mentakasngi ke Conrad tarik risau arajar arkusau ulalait sya IT Park Maudiang Diang hagajing senran lang jong menteri rang ba ke jela bat ki officer ke sorkar jela. Nakal yang menteri rang ba Conrad sangma ulapan pau gijing song komen ban paniho Vice President Korea ki kam ki ba ke sorkar kalale bat ki kam ki ba katmu ban trei ha gini ki snem ki ban wan. Ulo ongru baga sorkar ka shim ni ka kabu ni ki skim ni ka sorkar pedeng ban kenteu ya ka yok ka kot jong ka jilla ulo batairu ya ki kam ki baga sorkar ka lale ni ka benta ka jing mentoy jong upat ba nagal yang Vice President jong kari habakren ni ka sngi ulo ong baga presentation lani ka sandur jong menteri rangba ka jilla Meghalaya ka long ka ba Biang ba bat kidai bala ban Pynurlong bat kam don kata ka ban ong bakim la Henry la ban kinjo sya ka Thong ka bakilabu Ulang ru ba amdan ay ban ong Henry tang ban ong yat sakmat ban kenjo sakata ka Thong ka bakum ka jela Meghalaya ka don nagabenta ka laway jong kipat ba jong ka.
So of course this is a general outlook of the state in terms of our overall population size. Our forest cover as you see 76% and of course our GSDP which is at about 46,000 crores as of now, and per capita, of course, is 1.24 lakhs, which is, of course, on the lower side. Next. So in this entire process, what we have been trying to do in the last 6 to 7 years, sir, is that we've been trying to create a system in this kind of a format. Of course, before this, we move into the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So the very important exercise which we did was to actually go into the different problems that we faced as a state, and we tried to understand what were the reasons for those problems happening, like what was the actual factors, and not just the problem itself. And an example I can give you very, in a detailed manner, is the maternal mortality rate which we faced. So we were having one of the highest in the country. But then we took specific steps to ensure that steps were taken at the institutional delivery level, at the time of delivery, also in the mother's health, and multiple actions then led us to improve the overall maternal mortality rate and brought it down by almost 50% in the last 3 years. So we are now almost at the national average. So that exercise led to this particular aspect, sir, where we have now as you said correctly, sir, we to dare to dream. Now, a lot of times we look at something and we say, can we do it or not? We have tried to create aspirations for every department. We have tried to really go for the larger goal and larger picture. So we have, again, sticking to maternal mortality, our target, sir, is to ensure that not even one mother should die while giving birth to a baby. So our aspirations have been created very, very high. And we target to achieve high goals, sir. One very important thing, sir, for us is that our community structure is very strong. We have about close to 7,000 villages in our state. So 7,000, sir. 7,000 gaon hai, sir, hamare. So 7,000 villages. Every village almost has its own community, headmen, and locality. So we use this community infrastructure to ensure that we are able to then tie up and collaborate with them, because that's the best way for us to actually ensure that our implementation really yields the desired results that we wish, sir. Apart from that, sir, we also realized, number 3 is that the capacity to absorb the schemes from center, to be able to deliver, to be able to implement, was something that was missing in our state. So we focused a lot on capacity building, and today, sir, the capacity is at the level where the absorption and the schemes that we get from center, I'll show you the numbers later, sir, is now much higher compared to what it was before, and much higher compared to other states which are of our similar size, sir. So fourth thing which we have done very importantly is we have forging partnerships. For example, we've realized that just by taking help from state government and center government alone, we cannot get the developmental aspect moving forward. So relationships like with World Bank, with the large externally aided projects, with consultants, with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So we have been forging alliances beyond government framework also to be able to get the expertise and also the funding to really achieve some of the important goals we want, sir. Of 10 billion but in the process ensuring that everybody gets a share of it. That is really what the vision is, and we have created this full document and plan sector-wise, and we're moving forward in that direction, sir. And this just to show you graphs, so that even in the worst case scenario with the conservative number that we've shown below, we do expect that by 2032, which is when the state will be 60 years old, we do expect to be at 13.57 billion. So this conservative number is based on 10% growth. We're looking at an average normal growth of this 10.6% growth, which is what the average growth that we expect. We do expect to touch 15 billion, and obviously, beyond that also, sir. So the growth rate, I'm sorry, is here. So likely growth is, conservative growth is 10.87, which is the decadal growth of the last decade. We've taken an average. But we can see, sir, we're moving far ahead. So we likely expect that we will grow 2-3% more. Right now we're growing at 15%, which is the aspirational growth we have. But even if we don't touch the aspirational growth every year, even if the average comes down to about 12%, sir, we should still hit about a $15.1 billion economy by 2032. Again, sir, this is just to show you how we are pushing the private sector, sir. We have come out with a new investment policy. We realize that without private investment, we will not be able to grow. So for IT also example, sir, we are one of the first few states to include the IT incentives in the industrial policy. So today, if anybody comes up and puts up an IT park or puts up an IT center, ITES, IT-enabled services, we will be giving them capital subsidy, interest subvention, and we'll be even giving them human capital or human resource support of giving up roughly about 3,000 to 4,000 rupees per person per month for the jobs that they create, sir. So this kind of investment modification has been done for our entire private sector investment, and this has been done, sir, in line with the Unnati, that is Government of India scheme. So we are matching the Unnati scheme so that putting the two together, it becomes a very, very viable project. For example, sir, Unnati gives 3% interest subvention, we are giving another 2% interest subvention, which makes a 5% interest subvention. मतलब कि 1 लाख के आपके इंटरेस्ट में अगर 9% का अगर आपका इंटरेस्ट रेट है तो उसमें से 4,000 रुपए आपको देने पड़ेंगे, 5,000 rupees उन्नति प्लस मेघालय मिलके. Again, sir, this is happening as we speak. We are talking to all of these people. Pepsi has just finalized to put up a 390 crore plant. It's coming up. We have some very good brand names. I don't want to give out the names right now, but we have some good brand names coming up for approximately about 3 to 4 resorts that we are really working on. And obviously, it's the ITS sector, power sector, we are really focusing on food processing also. So these are some numbers. These are kind of bridges that we have. In fact, this particular bridge was washed out the other day in the floods. But these are the bridges which come under the 7.3 kilometers. Our target is to completely redo these and come up with permanent RCC bridges. So again, just some example of growth corridors which we're developing. This, of course, is the Bangladesh border. So we feel strongly, of course, situation is complicated in Bangladesh right now, but we feel strongly that ensuring a strong corridor here is going to be a big boon to the state and to trade in the future. And connectivity is obviously most important. So some parts are already developed, some parts there's a gap. So we would want to see that these gaps are done. Again, another example of some growth corridors. I'll just skip through all of these. Again, sir, this is again growth corridor. This is very important, sir, where we will need your support also. That we are trying to expand the runway, sir. Otherwise, we would have landed in Shillong today, sir. We have to land in Guwahati. Now, sir, what happened was we have finally, through a lot of expertise, we've brought in people into the system, and now we have got technical report that supports the extension of this runway. And once that happens, sir, the A320 and the Boeing 737 size aircrafts will be able to land in Shillong. So I think that is going to be key for us for the future, because if that happens, sir, not only tourists, we will have Vice President coming every month to Shillong, sir. So that is what we're hoping, sir. So we are redesigning these areas, sir. So there's going to be a lot of focus here on ensuring that we are able to redevelop important junctions. So this is also on the cards, and of course we are working on making this happen. So this is maybe one of the most futuristic and important and challenging sectors for us, but it's something that we really want to do. So this is the new administrative city. So where we are right now is exactly where it says the new administrative city, the middle. Old Shillong is the Shillong city, And a new knowledge city is what is going to come up again about 15 kilometers away from here, sir. This is our futuristic plan to develop and make Shillong grow. So we realize that the growth of our state will be attracted by the growth of Shillong city. So if we really want Meghalaya to touch the high in growth sector, we want jobs to be created, then Shillong cannot be stagnant. We must create the opportunity around Shillong. And hence we realize that we need to expand. And therefore we said, look, let us build it up and let us now create the attraction for other investments to come in, sir. So here this is roughly about 1,000 acres, here it's about 800 acres, where we're going to now put up these hubs. That Umyam area is the area, sir, which I mentioned to you. We want tourism hub to be coming up out there, sir. Yeah, so this is the same thing. And I was mentioning, sir, that we are having multiple roads now that's going to connect the current Shillong to the new Shillong city. And those blue roads are the roads that are under construction right now. This is our new secretariat, sir. The design is complete. Again, a modern design with a lot of thought into everything from sustainability to light to water harvesting. This is all secretariat area, but this will be forest area. We will not open this up. We will keep the forest out here. We will keep the waters. We have mapped the streams that are flowing out here so that we don't disturb that. We have mapped the angle of the sunrise and sunset to ensure that maximum lighting comes into the buildings. All these aspects have been looked into, and this will house all the directorates. That means, sir, tomorrow if anybody wants any kind of government specific service, they have to come only to this one location and all the departments will be there. Once this happens, sir, we will have Shillong completely, or not completely, but large extent we'll have it decongested, and this entire problem of Shillong traffic is something that we hope we'll be able to overcome in the long run, sir. Shillong is already music capital. We want to make it even the football capital of India. That's what we want. Because why, sir? Because people love football. And why don't we do what people love? So we said we'll do football. This, once completed, sir, will be the largest fully dedicated football stadium in the country, sir. 40,000 capacity, and we can have any international match in this football stadium. And this is something that we are really, really excited about, and will ensure that this one moves forward. So this is the old stadium which is there. We have now increased the capacity to about 15,000, and we've started hosting Durand Cup out here. By next year, we are hoping that we'll be able to host the ISL matches also, sir. So last time this 15,000 capacity, there was a demand for 1 lakh tickets in the Durand Cup final, but we couldn't have it. So this is the IT park. This is the second phase, which is going on down, and that's in Tura, which is my constituency. Tourism will develop this whole place. Earlier, forest was having some land, they were not doing anything with it. Power was having some land, they were not doing anything with it. So now we have decided that let everything be with tourism, and now tourism will decide how to move forward. And we will give the space to MECL and forest also as per the requirement. But this master plan is now moving forward. And this again, as I said, is going to be a major game changer for us in terms of tourism. Again, some examples of designs, which again, as I said, already on the cards. These are not just plans and ideas. These are actually being implemented. We have mapped the money for it through externally aided projects. So we have got all the things tied up. We have mapped 55,000 spaces. We're using satellite and drone technology to the max. So we are ensuring that all the water bodies that we have in our state, we need to have it on the map. So we have detail of every spring. So you'll also be happy to know that soon we will be putting sensors in each of these springs. The project is moving forward with this. So we are going to be putting up sensors in each spring so that sitting here, I'll be able to tell you what is the level of the water in each spring. So this kind of thing is technology is coming up, and maybe we'll be the first state to do this. Green Meghalaya is a very interesting project, sir. We are the first state to give what we call payment for ecosystem services. इसमें क्या करते हैं सर हम लोग? We pay the villagers money not to cut the tree. So we give them 20,000 rupees per hectare, saying don't cut the tree, maintain it, keep the forest. Here, take 20,000 rupees from us. So like that, sir, we have saved 55,000 hectares. We spent 50 crores, and this year now we target to touch about 1 lakh hectares. Again, some small examples of what we have done. This is again, sir, something that we are very passionate. I'm very passionate, sir. I have this CM Connect programs where I go for public hearing. It's something that happens everywhere in the country, sir. but it's not common here in our state. But I've made a point that it's important to connect with the people. These are the guarantees I was mentioning, sir. Reliable quality power, housing for all beneficiaries, health care, high drinking water. So while we achieve a $10 billion economy, what is it that the public will get? This is what we're going to focus on. And for each of these sectors, sir, we have a detailed plan and how we're going to achieve this.
Fiscal prudence is key to development. But you must have a target. And I was so happy and delighted. Developed Meghalaya at 2032, marking 60 years of it coming into being. Now, I have said on several occasions what is meant by a developed state. Globally, it has not been defined. But GDP growth is not an indicator of it. Developed state is a very serious business. For example, Bharat is aimed at having developed status at 2047. Some people ask me, why not earlier? I said, developed status has certain elements. They take time. I am grateful to the Honorable Chief Minister that the most important component of the presentation was the last one, 10 guarantees. All those guarantees are aimed at making Meghalaya a developed state. And I have no doubt what has been indicated to me, it is not aspirational. It is implementably aspirational. Because to aspire is one thing, but to aspire with rational approach, taking into consideration availability of resources and capacity of your human resource. So I take it absolutely implementable aspirational situation by 2032. I have seen some uniqueness in the developmental mode. Certain things have to grow on their own. Roads and bridges, connectivity, they will grow. You have to put some extra effort for an airport to get it more. If not now, it will get into few years. But futuristic outlook was reflected here. And that is in creating infrastructure. The world was stunned by Bharat Mandapam. How come? And no one knew about it. They were coming. Yeshobhumi in Dwarka, you can park about 5,000 cars because India was paying huge price for not having a convention center of that level. So for a state like Meghalaya, it is a dream for me what I've seen. And the focus is on fundamentals. And those fundamentals are education, health, technology, workspace, skill development, giving people happiness, happiness in music, happiness in sports. Just imagine for Meghalaya to think and be in execution mode for the largest football stadium. Honorable Chief Minister, congratulations. They narrated to me what happened on the streets of then Calcutta, later on Kolkata, when Pele came. The real stars. And sports is part of soft diplomacy also. That's one aspect. Second, farm sector. Quality farm sector matters. Just imagine you are planning warehouses. I know a farmer is slow. The greatest challenge in the farm economy is that if there is plenty, the price is less. If there is scarcity, price doesn't matter, he gets the same because volume is less. Farmer has not been involved with marketing of his or her product, which means the economy of the farmer can't get changed. Your concept, I was seeing how pineapple is going to create. Lulu group is an established group, a far-sighted group. It has futuristic outlook. The gentleman has interacted with me. But I am elated that pineapple is going to the region. And when it comes to your coffee tabletop, closer to heart, I have heard. I've heard from people, get closer to heart. But getting closer to earth, just imagine the quality of turmeric. And the Honorable Governor comes from a state which produces turmeric in large quantity. But he took great pride in saying that turmeric of this place in that particular quality has 3 times advantage. And why only turmeric? Others also. So while it took the Prime Minister a great effort to get the country out of despondent mood, because a decade before he came to power, and that coming to power, ladies and gentlemen, was qualitative. After 3 decades, the country came to have a government with full majority. I have described journey of India post 2014 in 3 phases. The rocket took off in 2014, and those who know science, it takes a huge effort, great energy for a rocket to take off. And that's a critical part. Rocket took off in circumstances which could not be more daunting, more negative. Then in 2019, the rocket left the gravitational force, which means geometric results with arithmetic investment. In 2024, it has gone into space. It is now on a trajectory that will keep us going. What was at that point of time? Particularly the capital investment increase, which is of a huge consequence, people lose sight of it. It is only capital investment that can create infrastructure. In social sectors, your investment was amazing. So, how I can say, I'm enough to say, but can you believe in a country like ours, at any given point of time, real-time situation of a pregnant woman? And what imaginative mechanism that you pay for the vehicle? Great economic effort, economically very wise, it makes good sense in economics, it keeps everyone happy, so there can be no greater timely assistance. If you have to send a vehicle, not easily implemented for a variety of reasons, but this works. You get a vehicle available, fine, and you get it paid. And then infant mortality, huge improvement, great achievements. I am from every angle threat. I knew something good was happening. I was not aware that so much is happening. Uniqueness of stakeholders in 7,000 villages is remarkable. You have that correct. It will be really great, let me tell you. We will be seeing much better days for the state of Meghalaya. Our educational institutions are yet to have courses that are dedicated to varied facets of tourism. Make your human resource so tourism friendly that a tourist becomes your ambassador by word of mouth. The two nurses who have gone to Japan, you would realize that nursing is fine, but how do you connect with the local populace? Rajesh has been in Japan, Indian Foreign Service Officer, 2010 batch. So all we have is, we have everything. We have to exploit it. Exploitation by the individual is not easy. Only systemic, affirmative policies can catalyze an ecosystem where you can reap the results. That scenario you created. I am really living with that hope, because in my capacity as Vice President, I am sharing it with you. I get presentation from every department of the government of India. Some have made presentations, others will. It's an eye-opener. I have an occasion to make suggestions. My team is present there. Here I would make only one suggestion. Keep on going. Keep on going. Thank you.